before I start this video, I just wanted to say, as you may or may not know, I recently started a Fiverr gig selling voiceovers, specifically soothing voiceovers, and because a lot of people have told me that I have a really soothing voice, and the link is in the description box if you would like to check it out. And that's also why I'm making this video, because I have been wanting to get more into ASMR videos and just making ASMR videos on YouTube, because I'm very passionate about it. ASMR is what has helped me through many sleepless nights last year. So yeah, I have my iPhone here recording. So I'm trying to save up money to buy myself a Blue Yeti microphone. And by watching my YouTube videos and by sharing them, you would be helping me a lot. And you would also help me a lot if you leave comments like everybody has been doing on my shag video. So thank you. That really helps with the algorithm. And yeah, I'm just using my YouTube to kind of build up a portfolio of like soothing videos. So that's what I'm starting to do today. This is not mandatory, but if you would like to help me save up to buy a Blue Yeti, you can donate on my Ko-Fi page, which is also in my description box. I have been slowly updating my tarot card journey because I have been painting my own tarot cards and I'm getting into it. So once I'm done with all of them, I will do an ASMR tarot card flip through, and I will also put some of my better ones on my Redbubble shop, which is also in my description box. So let us get started. Today I will be reading to you some of my favorite passages and quotes from The Picture of Dorian Gray and Wuthering Heights, because I am a classic bitch. I have read so many classics over the last year or so, and these have been two of my favorites. So yes, this is gonna be an ASMR reading. So the first book is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. So I really like the preface of this book, so I'm gonna read it. The artist is the creator of beautiful things. To reveal art and conceal the artist is art's aim. The critic is he who can translate into another manner or a new material his impression of beautiful things. The highest as the lowest form of criticism is a mode of autobiography. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find beautiful meanings in beautiful things are the cultivated. For these there is hope. They are elected to whom beautiful things mean only beauty. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written or badly written. That is all. The 19th century dislike of realism is the rage of Caliban seeing his own face in a glass. The 19th century dislike of romanticism is the rage of Caliban not seeing his own face in a glass. The moral life of man forms part of the subject matter of the artist, but the morality of art consists in the perfect use of an imperfect medium. No artist desires to prove anything. Even things that are true can be proved. No artist has ethical sympathies. An ethical sympathy in an artist is an unpardonable mannerism of style. No artist is ever morbid. The artist can express everything. Thought and language are to the artist instruments of an art. Vice and virtue are to the artist materials for an art. From the point of view of form, the type of all the arts is the art of the musician. From the point of view of feeling, the actor's craft is the type. All art is at once surface and symbol. Those who go beneath the surface do so at their peril. Those who read the symbols do so at their peril. It is the spectator and not life that art really mirrors. Diversity of opinion about a work of art shows that the work is new, complex, and vital. When critics disagree, the artist is in accord with himself. We can forgive a man for making a useful thing as long as he does not admire it. The only excuse for making a useless thing is that one admires it intensely. All art is quite useless. Okay. Perhaps I will read to you the first page as well. The studio was filled with the rich odor of roses, and when the light summer wind stirred amidst the trees of the garden, there came through the open door the heavy scent of the lilac, or the most delicate perfume of the pink flowering thorn. From the corner of the divan, I'm not sure, oh my gosh, of Persian saddlebags on which he was lying, smoking, as was his custom, innumerable cigarettes, Lord Henry Wotton could just catch the gleam of the honey-sweet and the honey-colored blossoms of a laburnum, whose tremulous branches seemed hardly able to bear the burden of beauty so flame-like as theirs. And now and then the fantastic shadows of birds in flight flitted across the long tussar silk curtains that were stretched in front of the huge window, producing a kind of momentary Japanese effect, and making him think of those pallid, jade-faced painters of Tokyo who, through the medium of an art that is necessarily immobile, seek to convey the sense of swiftness and motion. The sullen murmur of the bees shouldering their way through the long, unmown grass, or circling with monotonous insistence round the dusty gilt horns of the straggling woodbine, seemed to make the stillness more oppressive. The dim roar of London was like the burdened note of a distant organ. In the center of the room, clamped to an upright easel, stood the full-length portrait of a young man of extraordinary personal beauty, and in front of it, some little distance away, was sitting the artist himself, Basil Hallward, whose sudden disappearance some years ago caused at the time such public excitement and gave rise to so many strange conjectures. Now I'm just gonna flip through and look for some quotes that I underlined or passages that I put a star next to. I knew that I had come face to face with someone whose mere personality was so fascinating that, if I allowed it to do so, it would absorb my whole nature, my whole soul, my very art itself. I find him in the curves of certain lines, in the loveliness and subtleties of certain colors. That is all. He lives the poetry that he cannot write. The others write the poetry that they dare not realize. Ordinary people waited till life disclosed to them its secrets, but to the few, to the elect, the mysteries of life were revealed before the veil was drawn away. Sometimes this was the effect of art, and chiefly the art of literature, which dealt immediately with the passions and the intellect. But now and then a complex personality took the place and assumed the office of art, was indeed in its way a real work of art. Life, having its elaborate masterpieces, just as poetry has, or sculpture, or painting. Sorrow stirs one's sense of beauty. Wounds are like red roses. Soul and body, body and soul, how mysterious they were. There was animalism in the soul, and the body had its moments of spirituality. The senses could refine, and the intellect could degrade. Who could say where the fleshly impulse ceased, or the psychical impulse began? How shallow were the arbitrary definitions of ordinary psychologists, and yet how difficult to decide between the claims of the various schools. Was the soul a shadow seated in the house of sin, or was the body really in the soul, as Giordano Bruno thought? The separation of spirit from matter was a mystery, and the union of spirit with matter was a mystery also. This is one of my favorite quotes from the book. There seemed to him to be something tragic in a friendship so colored by romance. Now I shall switch to Wuthering Heights. By Emily Brontë. Okay, so here's the first quote. Because he's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. And of course, I have a lot of underlines from the middle of the book. So, the flash of her eyes had been succeeded by a dreamy and melancholy softness. They no longer gave the impression of looking at the objects around her. They appeared always to gaze beyond and far beyond. You would have said, out of this world. Then the paleness of her face, its haggard aspect having vanished as she recovered flesh, and the peculiar expression arising from her mental state, though painfully suggestive of their causes, added to the touching interest which she awakened, and invariably to me, I know, and to any person who saw her, I should think, feuded more tangible proofs of convalescence, and stamped her as one doomed to decay. With straining eagerness, Catherine gazed towards the entrance of her chamber. He did not hit the right room directly. She motioned me to admit him, but he found it out. Ere I could reach the door, and in a stride or two was at her side, and had her grasped in his arms. He neither spoke nor loosed his hold for some 5 minutes, during which period he bestowed more kisses than he ever gave in his life before, I dare say. But then my mistress had kissed him first, and I plainly saw that he could hardly bear for downright agony to look into her face. The same conviction had stricken him as me, from the instant he beheld her, that there was no prospect of ultimate recovery there. She was fated, sure to die. I wish I could hold you, she continued bitterly, till we were both dead. I shall love mine yet, and take him with me. He's in my soul. The thing that irks me most is this shattered prison, after all. I'm tired of being enclosed in here. I'm wearying to escape into that glorious world, and to be always there, not seeing it dimly through tears and yearning for it through the walls of an aching heart, but really with it and in it. Wow. Oh my gosh. Probably everybody's favorite passage from this book. You said I killed you. Haunt me then. The murdered do haunt their murderers. I believe, I know that ghosts have wandered on earth. Be with me always. Take any form. Drive me mad. Only do not leave me in this abyss where I cannot find you. Oh God. It is unutterable. I cannot live without my life. I cannot live without my soul. Okay. That is all the passages and quotes that I wanted to read. I hope you enjoyed this video and were able to feel relaxed from listening or watching. If you watched till the end, please leave a comment below with 3 sparkling emojis, and yeah, that would help me out with the algorithm a lot. And I will see you next week.